Okay, so I recorded a video yesterday, but my audio wasn't working for whatever reason. So I had some good points. It was nice, but it was also slow and had some dead air in it. So it's good that it happened overall. I moved this. It's kind of gross. It's my mouthpiece from jujitsu, but anyway, so the purpose of this video is to record my journey through the Monroe Institute tapes. And uh, the purpose of the Monroe Institute tapes is to become aware of higher energies. The affirmation that we practice every day is I am more than my physical body. And because I am more than my physical body, I deeply desire to expand, to increase, to use these higher energies and uh, to request the assistance of uh, those with more wisdom and more along those lines. I don't have it fully dialed in yet, but I am getting there. I just finished my Focus 10, which it starts with Focus 3, which is really becoming synchronizing your left and right hemispheres. And we do that through the hemisync, which is the hemispheric synchronization, which is technically using the uh, it's using this phenomena that happens with your mind as you use one frequency on your left ear and another frequency on your right ear. And what your brain does is instead of listening to both, it listens to the difference between the two and therefore synchronizes both hemispheres. And so that's really focus three is synchronizing your mind and your brain. And what that means is really the frequencies that we go through on a day to day. So a lot of the people that we encounter are in the beta. And if you haven't heard, there's like the alpha, the beta frequencies, the theta frequencies, and then there's the delta frequencies, and then there's the gamma frequencies. I think that's right, or I'm not sure. I have to check. But I think the first three are correct. Um, and so we're putting our brain into theta, which is where your brain goes when you sleep. And so that's basically what we're doing, but you're overcoming that. And the purpose of overcoming that theta, while your brain is in theta, you want to become aware that your brain is in theta. And you want to also become aware of your body being potentially asleep, which is the next step, which is focus 10. And so um, that's where I'm at right now is in focus 10, and that's what I just finished practicing. And as I've gone through this journey, I have really unlocked these memories from my past that I had suppressed or just forgotten about or just didn't care about anymore. And they're really meaningful to me. And it's really powerful, I think. And I just want to talk about some of the things that I've experienced more recently as my experiences have intensified. I don't really want to talk about my past so much in this video. I want to talk more about current events and then moving forward because maybe later on, once I'm further in my journey, I'll kind of come back and talk about my entire childhood and everything else. I just think that would take up too much time because I've been doing these tapes for about like I want to say a month, maybe more, maybe even a month and a half. And it's been very productive. I started out with just the Hemi Sync on YouTube, and then I went ahead and did the orientation, which is very similar to that tape, and that gets you into the Focus 3. And then now I'm at Focus 10, and that's I've just been doing the introduction over and over again for about a week or so, and just practicing, really making sure that it's effective. not just kind of going through the motions, but really soaking it in. And because I've been doing that, last night I had a dream that I was flying. I don't think I've ever had, at least not consciously. I think we all have those dreams here and there, but I was really aware that I was having that dream, that I was really uh, flying, and I was not only flying, but it was like a progressive uh, realization that I could fly in my dream, and I just visualized myself going up, and I kind of took a jump, and then I just kept floating upwards, and then I was like, oh, I can go anywhere. I can really go anywhere. And so I started visiting some friends, which it's weird because looking back now, I can't really identify who they were. And I've had interactions in my life. I can't really tell you who they. I mean, I might have a guess, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to call them and ask them and say, hey, did you have a dream about me flying with you or something like that? Um, but that's the whole point of the Monroe tapes. Really, is to do astral projection ultimately, where we can first affirm and understand that we are more than our physical bodies. And there's a lot of doubts, there's a lot of distractions, there's a lot of propaganda against that fact in our environment. But when you look at the evidence, it's just undeniable. And when you really pay attention to that and start to notice these other kind of circumstances and events and coincidences that happen based on your astral body, you can really start to realize and understand it and become aware of it. And then the next step is to obviously go from just the affirmation, then to practicing it and becoming adept at moving around in that space. And so I'm a very, very beginner. I'm an initiate right now. I literally just started to quote unquote fly, to the extent that while I was doing my Focus 10 today, um, I could tell when I was deviating from the focus, right? That's like the main, I think, powerful thing about it, is that because it is a focus and you can focus on it, I could really start to notice when I was deviating and going into these other thoughts. I think maybe potentially other frequencies, and that's a step. I think that's a big step for me, because a lot of the time it's not like I couldn't notice that before, but I could really bring myself back to the focus. I think that was like the big step, is like, okay, I notice that I'm deviating, and I can consciously bring myself back to the focus, which the focus of the Focus 10 tapes is to become aware of the hemisync, and then to ultimately allow your body, each step by step, which to become aware of the hemisync, what we do is we use the energy conversion box, which is where we put all of our anxieties and worries in it, to convert that negative energy into peace within ourselves. And as the um, theta frequencies start to occur, we really kind of just start. Like, I fell asleep so many times at the beginning. I just kind of fell asleep. I wasn't conscious of what was going on. Now, though, as I've practiced it, I can become aware of like my my brain going into a more synchronized state, and I'm still present. And then after that, you don't not only put your brain into that frequency, but you also put your body into a deep, relaxed state. And so that's the point of the Focus 10, and that I was able to bring myself back to that focus as my mind was kind of deviating, because one of the things that they tell us is like, relax your jaw, relax your eyelids, and really allow them to just fully relax to the point where they're just so relaxed that they even just fall asleep. and then so on and so forth. And as I was focusing on relaxing my jaw, I would notice myself kind of relaxing my jaw, doing the physical motion, but then internally, instead of focusing on relaxing it further, I would find myself deviating and being distracted by the other thoughts. And that's fine, it's okay, and that's okay. The main thing is to just realize that it's okay, and then gently bring myself back. And I was able to do that today, so I'm glad that I was, and that's part of the reason why I'm recording this. And that's part of the purpose of the exercises, is to not allow yourself to be distracted by so many outside influences, but really focus on your purpose. What is your purpose? What is your focus? What is it that you really want to accomplish out of this life, for the short amount of time that we have here until we return back to our astral bodies? And so it's really powerful, because when we become aware of the astral nature of our existence, we can also go into that realm and influence the physical. And I don't mean that metaphorically, I mean that literally. And that's a step that I would like to go into in the future, is where, I can visit some of my friends, I can visit my mom, I can visit, my dad even, and my siblings, and kind of play around and say, like, hey, what were you doing yesterday? Uh, yeah, interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, is this the case? Were you wearing this? Were you around with this person? And then they'll be like, well, how did you know that? And I'll be like, well, I was there with you, So that's really the goal, and I think that's going to be amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm just going to keep practicing every day and making these videos and recording my journey, and then maybe later on I'll release them. Maybe later on I'll put them on YouTube or something like that. So um, thank you so much for tuning in, if I am putting this on YouTube, and yeah, on to the next video.